This is Bill Apter, and welcome back to a very special face-to-face right here. And joining me once again, we had him on here last week, is the Hurricane Helms, Gregory Shane Helms. Welcome back to face-to-face here on OneWrestling.com.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Bill.
Well, you're very welcome. And last time you were on here, we spoke about the Chinlock For Chuck show that you were going to be involved in, and I understand it was an incredible success.
It was an incredible success. It exceeded expectations, not just from the fans, but from the wrestlers that showed up. So many local wrestlers showed up in attendance. They bought tickets. They sat in the crowd. The attendance itself, was really good. Hot crowd, great show, all across the board. It was a massive success.
That's great. Now I understand that you have, and I'm waiting for this, a special guest there in your hurricane room there.
I sure do, and let's go ahead and bring him in. It was the man of the hour, the man of honor. Let's bring him on. Slide your chair on in here, buddy. This was
Chuck Coates,
the guy that we did Chinlock For Chuck for.
Yeah.
Looking good, looking beautiful. He's pretty. He's so pretty.
You're looking good, so pretty.
How are
you? So I'm good. It's good to see you. My goodness, it's funny because I haven't seen you since the WCW days.
Sting had white hair.
What's that?
That Sting had white hair. It's been that long.
Yeah, Sting had blonde hair, and I still had the same amount of no hair. So exactly. But Chuck, I'm glad that you're here. I wonder if you could just come up a bit closer so we can so we can chat. Chinlock For Chuck was this great benefit that so many people in the wrestling business, the fraternity of pro wrestling, came to support you. For the people who don't know, and if you don't mind going through this, the people don't know, tell us what this was for and what you've been going through the past few years.
Well, in 2006, I went to get a physical, and in the state of Virginia, you have to have a license to perform. Well, I got my physical. I'd got many more before, and everything was just fine. And my doctor found a place in my neck down in the deep in my neck here, and he said, physical part, you're fine, but we do have an issue with something going on. We need to get you to a specialist. Well, I went and got checked. I went and wrestled, did my whole thing, and got followed up with it. Got another exam by the specialist from Duke, and he found a swollen lymph node. They did surgery and did a biopsy, and it ended up being Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a very curable cancer, believe it or not. But still, the word cancer, scares you. And so,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I went through chemotherapy and radiation. It took about 6 to 8 months in 2006, only in 2007. I was declared cancer-free in February of 2007.
Right.
I didn't go back into wrestling. I just kind of took it easy and decided to just, have a little bit different outlook on my priorities and stuff. And I just wanted to be able to make sure I was good and feel like I just, mentally I wanted to just kind of sit back and I beat cancer. Yeah, it was neat. And so,
of course.
Considering
he's always trying to outdo me. I beat The Rock. Oh, now you got to go beat cancer.
Yeah,
I can't have nothing.
Yeah, I wore face paint first. But anyway,
I can't have nothing.
I believe it.
But 2012, this past year, had some pain in my side, and long story short, found out that it had returned in my abdomen, and went through in the springtime more chemotherapy. This past year, they decided to do a bone marrow transplant, which it sounds bad, and it is bad. It's not. It's one of those deals where you say pain. It's not pain as in I smash my finger with a hammer. It's just more of the nausea, the vomiting, like a flu-like symptoms for 2-3 straight months. You take meds, you're okay for a few hours, and then right back, feel terrible the next minute. And
I know some other people who have been through this, so I understand what you're saying.
It's pretty traumatic for your body, and we go through this twice now. It was, you're talking about some serious trying times, and just hoping you'll be here to see another day.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I did a highway to Helms with Shane back in spring when I first found out. And I said, Shane, I'm going to come back when I'm in remission, and I'm going to talk to you again. Well, in the meantime, these guys, Mike Maverick, Shane Helms, and my brother David.
Hey, is Mike Maverick there, by the way?
He is here. He just fell and bumped his head.
He's over there tearing.
Can you have him stick his head in there to give us a wave?
Mike Maverick jacked up.
I think he might have fell down the stairs. I don't know.
Oh, all right. But go on.
Hey, Bill wants you to stick your head in here for a second.
Yeah, stick your head in here for a second. One of the people responsible for getting this whole Chinlock for Chuck benefit going as well, and we want to thank him. And Shane, you were such a there he is.
Big
there he is.
I just felt
wanted to make sure because you were part of this whole event to help Chuck.
Yeah, it was Mike's idea. And Mike was the one that approached me with it at the beginning and wanted to do something with Chuck. So Mike was he was the seed.
It ended up being a lot bigger deal than what I had in mind, though, when we first started.
Well, what brought you, Chuck? At this point, you weren't obviously. Again, you said you weren't wrestling or anything. But at this point now, the bone marrow go on to what happened from there.
September was the actual transplant. September the 12th, I believe, was the actual process where I got they take your stem cells, freeze them, give you extensive chemotherapy, give your stem cells back, which hopefully creates a new immune system, if that makes any sense. Right. Something's causing these cancer cells to come back. So we're hoping that this got it. And in the meantime, these guys were talking about a wrestling event. It started out as a snowball. It ended up being an avalanche. I mean, literally.
Now, the reason for the wrestling event, this was to, I believe, to help you pay your medical bills. Absolutely. Because medical insurance, whether you have it or not, is not always very giving in a life and death situation like this.
Yeah, and I had a job, work a regular job in the printing industry, and I was out since April 1st. So by the time you get 60% of your check and you pay your own insurance out of that, you got to make adjustments. And I had
it's pretty devastating.
Yeah, we went to an apartment just to regroup and downsize, my family and I. And these guys came up with the idea, and it just ended up being, I couldn't have asked for a better, just the whole ordeal. This guy, if I had to pay him for his work, I'd be for the next 10 years. I'm telling you, Mike and David. I mean, Hurricane is the man. I mean, he could, he makes a living doing this, and he dedicated so much.
I know he was on our show, of course, here, and he was doing so much publicity, and Mike Maverick also was doing so much publicity and everything for this. And then you have all the guys that took their time, people like. So if there seems to be just a little lapse in this or whatever, for the people watching here, we had a little technical issue, which is the marvels of the computer world here. But anyway, we were just talking that this was a benefit, and that the medical costs were obviously tremendous. So Mike got the idea to put the show together, contacted Shane, and so many of the wrestlers that gave their time, and people backstage and everybody. And Chuck, I'd like you to look in the camera here, and since this is the first opportunity you've had to do this, to really thank the fans and the people that helped so much for this benefit.
This may take about 2 hours. I'm just kidding. We, start at the top. I mean, James Storm, I never met the man until Tuesday night. He flies himself in, wrestles, and heads back home the next day, and didn't ask for nothing but, you're one of Shane's friends, you're one of mine. I texted him, and
wow.
That's all he said. And I said, well, man, I can't thank you enough. So James Storm, and I'll tell you, I owe you big. And, you got that's just the start of it. On down the line, Matt and Jeff, Shane,
Matt and Jeff Hardy, right?
Yes,
right.
Matt
Shane
and Jeff Hardy.
Right.
I guess, going way back in the days of the trampoline and all that, it kind of came through. I've known them for a long time through these guys.
They're extended family. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
And fellow, just guys, fellow North Carolinians who decided that it would be a good thing to help me. And I never made one phone call. Shane did everything, and he said they were calling him.
I know
And Steve Carino, what can I say? How many championships has that guy held? NWA, ECW, he held the AWA title.
Yeah,
AWA. Then you had Gunner and Lodi and
our buddy Jimmy Cicero, Matt Bowman.
Jamie Cicero. It was so good to see him. And Cue Ball, these guys I haven't seen in a long time, and they gave to me. I sat ringside. They gave the fans the taste of the old school, walk and talk, get heat. I mean, they had a couple of ladies behind me ready to climb over my shoulder and get in the ring. But they were Wise Guy was right on, man, and he worked with was it Caprice and Cedric, Skylar and Christian and Cusick. So I've got so many of these guys, but they're all everybody. Cusick, Pat Cusick and Christian York, DNA, and the girls. We had we get their names right. Casey Carlisle and Jamie Jameson, Amber O'Neill, and Raby Sky.
Yeah.
Worked their rear ends off. They had one of the best matches of the night.
Sure. I heard.
There was some nice rear ends too.
I heard. Yeah.
I was front row. The scenery was nice. But anyway, golly, we had like I said, Caprice Coleman and Cedric Alexander from Ring of Honor, and Rick Converse and Brad Attitude. I go back with those guys from back in the late '90s, and some of the guys are coming up to me thanking me, and I'm like, for what? They're like, you got me started. You gave me a chance to go to this town or that town, because a lot of times they'd want to work, and I say, well, come with, bring your bags, and come on. You never know. And
I know that when someone in this business, in this wonderful business, really, no matter what you hear about it, but when one of our brethren is in trouble, again, like this, and they're needed, people come together really quickly.
Bill, it was a very special night. It was I put it up there with my top wrestling moments. And I'm talking about in my entire career, WCW, WWE, all of that. This Chinlock For Chuck event, I put it up there with some of my best memories I've ever had. It was a special night for the fans, for Chuck, for the boys, all come together. I mean, when the DVD comes out, you'll love the event. If you're a wrestling fan, you'll love the entertainment aspect of it, no doubt, because it was a great show.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, even though they're working for free and doing a volunteer, they didn't take time off. They worked. Everybody worked hard.
They gave it all 1,000%. I know.
Put on a great show, and it was a great show for a great cause. It was just a win-win, totally across the board. Once you see it, and the DVDs, they're going to be on chinlockforchuck.com. It's going to take a couple weeks to.
Oh, and we'll be keeping people up to date on that. Chuck,
great.
The prognosis for your there's the other main man there. The prognosis for your health at this point.
Well, the word is I'm 100% in remission. They 80% they give me. First time was 90. They give me an 80% chance that it won't come back. I like those odds. Without the bone marrow transplant, it was 60%. So I definitely wanted to go ahead and get that done since we're already deep into this situation. I'm starting off the new year, and we got a lot of ideas. I might add, the wrestling bug has bitten Mike and have kind of bitten me a little bit. And
you never lose it. Once you're in it, you never lose it, no matter what.
You may be seeing some other things happening.
Too.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. I want to see that. We're going to look forward to, and we're going to keep in touch. And you're welcome on the show here anytime. I'd like you to turn around and say something to that guy behind you.
This guy here.
Yeah.
My best bud from way. This is where it started for me.
I know. I know. What do you want to say to him?
I want to say, Mike, I can't thank you enough for busting your rear end, and in a time of need. And I can't. My brother David, he wrestled for a short time, and he's right there with the graphics, all the artwork, and the website. It was his calling, and he did all that for us. Shane, getting the guys there. This is the core of what happened that night, and they're the main reason the ball is rolling and we got this thing
That Chinlock For Chuck was put together.
Without, I'm telling you, it would have been half, maybe not even a quarter of what we had as far as people, sponsors, the guys there that worked. And I mean, what can I say? I got how many WWE former guys, TNA, Ring of Honor, guys that NWA, AWA with Carino, and NWA with Carino, and ECW with Carino, and just for me, I mean, it's overwhelming because this all took place for me and my need, and I never once, like I said, had to ask one person to do anything.
Well, you're a great guy. You talk to anybody in the wrestling business who knew you and knows you, and nobody has anything but great things to say about you. And I want to thank you for being here. There is one part here you don't know about. Is that
perfect thing on the Horseman days, Baby Doll showed up and made an appearance on the show.
She did.
Yeah.
To be a part of it, she showed up for Chuck too.
Hey, Bill, one thing I wanted to say, I know Chuck's already said thank you to all the boys, but when I first got the idea to do this, the first thing that went through my head is, well, I wonder if I can find, enough guys to come and do a free show, a freebie, so the money could go to Chuck. And I was, thinking of, local guys or indie guys or guys that didn't have to drive very far. And then Shane got involved and he picked up the phone, and it's just like people started to hear about this.
Yeah.
It wasn't, local indie guys. It was big name wrestlers. And we had so many of them that every match was a tag match or an 8-man tag.
Yeah.
And like James Storm, I've never met James Storm before either. He's a friend of Shane's, but I've never met him until the other night. But like Chuck said, he flew himself in on his own dime and came to work this show for us. And, Jeff, he's the TNA world champion. He squeezed it in. I mean, we booked the show on a Tuesday night around their schedule so we could get them.
Yeah, I mean, you had a world champion there. I mean,
yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
And
so
Steve Marino,
thank you, Mike. Thank you for putting this together, because I can hear all the fans out there right now just in unison going, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. So we wanted to all say that on behalf of the fan base.
I was going to say this, like Jeff and those guys, we kind of, me and Shane both told them, we were like, hey, thanks for doing the show. I know it's for free. Don't go out there and kill yourself. Just, show up. Those guys work, Jeff, and I mean, everybody, Karina, all of them worked and James Storm, like they were on a TNA pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Nobody held back. Nobody took it easy. I mean, Jeff wore his makeup. James Storm came out with the beard, did the gimmick.
They did the full, their best full performances.
The thing, and the other thing that impressed me too is it was on a weeknight and everybody was tired and everybody wanted to get home. And everybody sat out in that lobby. We did a meet and greet after the show because it was on a weeknight. We didn't know if people needed to go.
Yep.
So we held the meet and greet till after the show, and those guys sat in that lobby until what, 11:30?
Matt and Jeff sat there until every single person that wanted something signed got signed.
Matt and Jeff stayed there the whole time.
They stayed there to the very end until everybody that needed something signed, had a picture, had whatever. Matt and Jeff stayed there to the very end.
I didn't even know they were still in the lobby. I was in there supervising everybody tearing down the ring and trying to get the building cleared out. And all of a sudden, I saw Jeff and Matt walk back through the door.
The ring's tore down at this point.
Yeah.
They're still out there signing.
They're still in there signing.
Jeff did not sit down. Jeff stood up.
That's great. Well, this was a tremendous event, and the DVD will be available. And, of course, we will let everyone out there know when. The one issue that I had was with Shane. He had all these companies sending all their best talent and all that. And I called him, and I told him I'll come and defend my Cow Championship Office Wrestling belt, and he told me not enough room. So
the internet might have exploded had that happened. We had to put a cap on it.
Is that what it was? I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Chinlock For Chuck too.
For Chuck too. Yeah.
Can I add one thing from a Mark standpoint? As we started at NC State, we paid Dorton Arena and Raleigh every Tuesday night. And when I found out Baby Doll was coming, I had a moment. I got to tell you, I had a moment. If you'd have told me in 1986, Bill, that Baby Doll would be doing a benefit for me and not making a dime, I'd have called you a liar. But she was there.
Let me add this about Baby Doll too. She shows up and she walks in, and then of course she's working for free just like everybody else. And she said, I got my 2 daughters with me. She said, give me a minute and I'll go up front and pay for their tickets. And I said, Nicolay, you don't have. I said, you don't have to pay for their tickets. Bring them in with you. It's fine.
Right.
And she said, no, I insist. This is for Chuck. So she went up there and paid $20 for her two daughters to come to the show with her.
And spent gas and worked and went home and just
That's tremendous.
never said nothing but you get well, take care of yourself, and I love you.
Well, hopefully there won't be a necessity for Chinlock for Chuck too. Hopefully everything's going to go great, and it'll just be a show up for Chuck fun show.
Yeah. Hey, if someone else is in need, you never know. Maybe we can help someone else in the future.
Yeah.
So very true. Thank you all for being here today, and Chuck, we wish you all the best with your health. Mike and Shane for everything you've done, and everybody else, and especially what I want to say out there on behalf of everybody, the fans that showed up to this show that may have had other obligations and family things and everything else to do that night. They came to support this, and we want to thank you, fans, as well.
Thank them all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For OneWrestling.com, this is Bill Apter, and again, the DVD will be available, and we will keep you all posted. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. See you in the matches.